Everyone for joining us. This is a very special series of webinars that Staqo is starting today. It's going to be very exciting because we are going to cover all kinds of topics in IT. So today we are starting on something called DevOps. If you're wondering why DevOps, well, everybody is charging through digital transformation. We are practically running on all cylinders. The problem is to do that properly, we need something called agility. We need frictionless deployments. We need faster rollouts. And that boils down to DevOps. So we thought that let's choose DevOps and let's try to understand it from all possible angles. And we are trying to do that in today's webinar. We have an extremely rich set of panelists sitting with us who are going to talk us through the concept, through various dimensions, through the right way, how to avoid the wrong way of doing DevOps, everything under the sun. First of all, we have Mr. Naren Bhandari. He's the managing partner, Australia and New Zealand. He has a very immense and very rich 30 plus years of multi-million-dollar IT initiatives. He's worked all across the globe, India, Australia, UK, Sweden, France, a lot of Africa. So he's going to walk us through the conceptual part of DevOps, and he will take us through the helicopter view of DevOps. Once he's through that, we are going to do a very interesting Q&A. And for that, we have three experts sitting with us. First of all, we have Ms. Charu Bhaga. She's the VP Strategies. She has 20 plus years of experience in the business and project side of DevOps. And to assist her, we have Mr. Bhaskar Chur. He's the practice head, and he brings a very immense business outcome and client expectation side of DevOps with 16 years under his belt. Of course, we need to get under the hood. And for that, we have Mr. Rahul Saxena. He's the program manager here, and he has a good grip on all tools and methodologies of DevOps. So we encourage you to post as many questions as you can. We are going to address everything. Let's start getting curious. And Naren, please take over and walk us through about DevOps.
Thank you, Pratima. A very warm welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming to this webinar. The topic for today's webinar is DevOps, or more precisely, never drawn in the DevOps ocean. My name is Naren Bhandari. I come to you from Staqo's Sydney offices. I've been working in Sydney for well over 30 years, and let me share a secret with you. Sydney is the best city in the world. The good thing about Sydney is we all know how to swim. Go to any beach for yourself. Good thing about Staqo with deep expertise in DevOps is they never drown in the pool of DevOps, or ocean of DevOps, I should say. And we need slides. So let me share some slides with you. Okay, well, let's make a start. Why DevOps at all? A couple of decades ago, the apps were designed and developed in a completely different manner with little automation. Market tigers such as Microsoft, Oracle, and many others have helped change it from kind of Stone Age to modern era. We are in the age of agility and cloud. In this era, thousands of instances, peak loads, peak traffic conditions have never been seen before. The apps are complex with a lot more diversity. DevOps is a big shift necessary for this age. It breaks the walls between dev and ops. Those who write code do not have to be miles away organizationally or functionally from those who deploy and support that code. I should mention, DevOps is a radical set of tools, practices, and cultural changes. You may say, DevOps are like a pilot and a co-pilot, deploying solutions in the cloud environment with an agile approach so that you can release applications with a faster speed, confidence, and hygiene. DevOps really do need a solid environment of continuous integration, testing, automated software development, and delivery of software. No wonder it's growing into a market worth billions of dollars at a very fast pace. What DevOps changes? The DevOps can be represented by the infinity loop. As it is the infinity loop, it is okay to start from any stage and move along with the arrows. Generally speaking, there are 8 key stages. Each iteration of the loop may be, generally speaking, completed in one sprint. One sprint is normally 2 weeks. As part of DevOps methodology, you would use various tools. Most can be programmed to deliver automation. Organizations that have reached matured levels can deliver minor business values in a matter of 24 to 48 hours. The loop itself is not new. However, the ability to iterate quickly and execute most of the tasks through tools with high level of automation delivers software at fast speed, better quality, and less errors. DevOps is agility and impact, indeed a positive impact. It is a bit like buying a gift for your best friend's anniversary. It has to be liked, it has to be useful, and it has to be within your budget. DevOps has to be planned well. If you're able to embrace and apply DevOps in the correct way, you will get tremendous advantages of improved agility, faster incident response time, lower operating costs, enhanced speed, scalability, and shrinkages in dependencies. You will also see gains in the form of fast recoveries, swift and smooth project paths, better time to market windows, and ultimately an improved customer service, absolutely essential for everyone. You may ask, what can go wrong then? Well, firstly, you want to plan something that is future-proof, cost-effective, easy to adopt, has a better support. It certainly is not like buying a cup of coffee. And guys, if you're gonna buy a cup of coffee for me, I'd like a piccolo, please. So the operating words are do it right. Otherwise, a lot of things can go wrong, and easily so, partly because you may not be familiar with this environment or its approach. For example, what if you choose the wrong tools? What if you choose a lot of tools? What if you end up spending too much time to understand, connect, and apply a big pile of tools? That may defeat the purpose of speed and ease of DevOps. Plus, you need to be sure you have the right skills by your side before you step forward on this path. You cannot go at the thundering speed that DevOps is all about if you have a lot of technical debt weighing you down. You also need to measure your progress in the right way. Well, no matter how great DevOps is, it simply cannot replace the gap of right product strategy. It's no good to release software faster if it's not good enough in the first place for a customer or market. So how do we get into the rhythm then? It is, you can say, it's a bit like a symphony. There are many artists and large number of instruments. So you have to have a solid strategy, instruments, I mean tools and skills in place. And you start by measuring the right things like lead time, change fail, availability, deployment frequency, and time to restore. Also, you need to start thinking like an elite performer, not to get stuck in the low plank of users. If you have decided to create a symphony or a DevOps environment, why do it half-heartedly, guys, or in the wrong way? Well, let's have a quick look at the tools The simplest way to be proficient and effective at DevOps is to select the right tools first. Some key factors need to be considered, like code maintainability, configuration ease, integration aspects, plugins, self-service simplicity, testing parts, compile time, and of course, the overall cost of curves. Absolutely essential. So, what stage are you at? I will encourage you to take a momentary pause here and think hard. Which of these stages do you belong to? Are you early, mature, or still iffy about DevOps? Guys, everyone needs help. Get help at the right time from the right hands. And do not worry too much. Whether you're a beginner or a little clueless, we have the right bundle of advice, expertise, and training resources to help you find the best way forward. Staqo's dynamic, global, and seasoned team has cut its teeth deep into many case scenarios of DevOps. We have many success stories to share with you. I must say, when you do DevOps right, it's a real power. Now, please feel free to ask any questions. We have expert panel waiting to respond to your questions. Feel free to contact us at contactus@staqo.com, or these are the two Sydney telephone numbers. Feel free to contact us anytime. We are in Martin Place, Sydney. We look forward to meeting you. Feel free to call us anytime. Come and have a coffee with us. And we look forward to meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you, Naren. That was a very actionable, very visceral, and very candid presentation about DevOps. So we'll start the Q&A now, but Naren, I have the first question for you.
Sure.
When we were talking about this webinar, you somehow kept stressing on this word called simplicity. And this seems to be the credo of Staqo. Can you tell us more about it?
Staqo is all about simplicity approach. There are big technical words all around: machine learning, blockchain solutions, artificial intelligence. Only technical people can understand these things. At Staqo, we're not in the business of selling technology. We provide the very best fit solution, independent of technology. We're specialists with expertise in strategic alignment, initiative conceptualization, planning, and execution with precision, solutions that meet your needs proficiently and cost effectively. That's what we call simplicity. We make things simple and we make them happen.
Awesome. That's very interesting. Okay, the questions have started rolling now. Let's get started. The first question is from Daniel, and Daniel wants to know, why should I spend my time and money in DevOps? What does it do for me and for my enterprise? Okay, I think this is best for Charu to take up. Charu, do you want to take this?
Yeah, thank you, Pratima, and thank you, Daniel, for asking this question. So this is a very interesting question. And if I have rightly understood it, the question is all about why should an enterprise invest time and money in DevOps? So we basically first need to understand what DevOps does. And let me just relate it to the manufacturing assembly line, which works like a chain, where one process is linked to the another. If one is completed, the another follows. And DevOps is very similar to it. So like Narayan told about the infinity loop, you can start from any point and you can just keep moving with the arrows. If you start from plan, then you design, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor. So DevOps is like a chain. It is actually a cultural movement where all stakeholders, right from software development team to infra team, they get together seamlessly in a very collaborative manner. It also breaks the boundaries between the development and the infrastructure team. It is a team effort which basically helps to experiment and innovate much more efficiently. And in last track, we just put this across. It simplifies life and combined everyone's. So DevOps is actually worth investing if you really want to roll out things faster, if you want to break boundaries within the organization, and if you want to become much more efficient in a long run. Thank you. I hope I have answered the question.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Charu. Okay, the next one is from Samantha. And the question is, are there any best practices around DevOps? And if yes, how to go about it? This one should be up your alley, Mr. Bhaskar. Bhaskar, do you want to take this?
Yes, thank you very much, Pratima, and thank you very much, Samantha, for answering a wonderful question. So, if I have heard you correctly, you're looking for the best practices that is available in the market and how we can look for it. So, my answer to it is that instead of focusing on the best practices, let's agree on the DevOps core principle first. So, DevOps promotes communication and collaboration between the businesses, development, and operations teams in a way that we are talking about unification. DevOps is not only about tools, but also about involving people and processes. DevOps is inspired by the agile process. It is all about automating the development, release, and operation processes. It also helps in the speed of delivering application to the end users. It is also about continuous improvement, which helps in learning through feedback. Now, if we talk about the best practices, DevOps implementation varies from one organization to the other organization. If I talk about an organization of 10 people or 1,000 people, so it varies from one to another. And today, organizations are looking to deliver the software faster. And from that point of view, here are my thoughts on how DevOps can bring about efficient communication with all the stakeholders, including the operation team. So the best practices, if I talk about, every organization has certain business goals, and DevOps implementation should align with it, and there should be a certain need for change. So encouraging communication and collaboration, especially between development and the operations. Automation is the key and should be done and carried out wherever possible within the software development lifecycle, that we call it as SDLC stages, to facilitate the working of DevOps. The tools used in DevOps should integrate very well. From the point of view of any commercial tools, the implementation of DevOps is good and it is from a single vendor. Similarly, one needs to look at the open source tools that integrate to give similar desired results. DevOps implementation is not successful without the continuous integration and continuous delivery practices. So CI, that we call it as the continuous integration of your code with rigorous testing and doing the continuous delivery, is the key to it. It is very important for the DevOps team to ensure that the applications are working very well at the appropriate level. If required, they will need to work with the development team to build any tools that would help to build the right monitoring capabilities into the application. Last but not the least, I would highly encourage feedback from end users to enable continuous improvement, which provides the key for improving the process and delivering the quality software. I hope I have answered Samantha's questions.
Sure. Bang on. Thanks, Bhaskar.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
CI and CD, yeah, very valid areas. Okay, Rahul, I've got something very interesting for you. There's somebody called Aaron, and the question is, what are the good tools when it comes to DevOps? How can my team make a right choice? Can you help with
Hey,
that?
thank sure. Thank you, Pratima. And thank you, Aaron, for asking such a relevant question. DevOps come up with multiple tools, as you asked about the tools. So let me tell you, it totally depends on your organization requirement. And to resolve the conflict of it's not my code, it's your machines. Yes, so as it's a collaboration between developers and the parties involved in building, deploying, operations, and maintaining software systems. So including DevOps in organization is catch it early, fix it fast. So when I say this, I mean to say there are plenty of tools available for different types of jobs, proprietary tools as well as open source. You can do it on cloud as well as on-prem. DevOps brings automation tools of various phases of development and operations. Phases like code, build, test, release, deploy, configure, and monitor. For developers, we have tools like Git, SVN, Maven, automation tools like Selenium, JUnit, and other documentation and project management tools. For operation side, for release and deployment, there are many popular open sources available, such as Jenkins, Dockers, for containerization. Also, let me tell you, there are multiple platforms, cloud platform also available for deploying and configuration and monitoring. We use Negios. We will love to have one-to-one session for recommending you the best for your organization as per your need and requirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. So I hope, Aaron, you got a big list out there, but you can definitely get in touch with Rahul and get some more help out there. Lovely.
Anytime.
Okay, this is really coming on interesting. We are opening layer after layer. Now, the next one is a question from Murad. And Charu, you were talking about simplicity earlier. Murad wants to know, how can DevOps simplify my life and the life of my enterprise and my team? Can it
Thank you,
happen?
Pratima. Thank you,
Yeah.
Pratima, and thank you, Murad, for asking such a interesting question. Because today's buzzword is simplicity and agility, and you basically are talking of these two things. So let me first uh, give some light to a very important question, which is what is important for every one of us? Is it doing our daily work or improving each day on what we are doing? So, if we answer this question, DevOps also talks of the same approach, that is, improve day on day, improve agility. Speed, agility, and responsiveness are key to DevOps. So, let me just repeat this: speed, agility, and responsiveness are key to DevOps. DevOps actually bridges the gap between operations and development that we already talked in the initial questions. It also manages end-to-end product lifecycle. It is actually a step which actually brings these two teams and resolves the divide between these two functions. So it is no longer turning over or turning on an application. It is building upon that. So operations does not have to wait for troubleshoot or to fix a problem. It is more seamless of effort of all different people in a team. So with all this, when teams comes together, simplicity of works comes in, agility comes in, and in the last, just to summarize what I have said, it is all about faster delivery to productions by implementing and leveraging automated processes. So with DevOps, you have this kind of flexibility, and thus it simplifies your life. I hope I am able to express myself.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Charu. Thanks. Very well explained. Great. Okay. Next, we have something again from Daniel. And this time, he wants to know, are there any cybersecurity angles to DevOps? How can I improve my risk and security posture with DevOps or not? And I think, Bhaskar, it would be better if you can take this up.
Yes, sure, Pratima. Thank you very much for asking such a great question, and thank you, Daniel, for asking this security question. And whenever I go for the webinar as a panelist or the expert, this question is pretty common, and I would like to answer this question in a pretty good way. So my recommendation is that please do not consider security as a next step. So security should be part of the design, and DevOps does this. So DevOps security refers to the discipline and practice of safeguarding the entire DevOps environment through strategies, policies, processes, and technology. So security should be built in into every part of the DevOps lifecycle, including inception, design, build, test, release, support, maintenance, and the beyond. So security should be baked into every stage of software development lifecycle that we call it as SDLC, is an agile approach, sometimes known as DevSecOps. So let me repeat, DevSecOps, that we call it in the agile approach. Organizations can use a combination of technology, policies, and procedures to secure the DevOps environment from design stages through building and testing to release and maintenance. So DevOps security relies on collaboration between departments who share responsibility for implementing security practices at every step. Teams should ensure that their software is reliable and data is protected. They must comply with governance and incident management protocols. Continuous monitoring, testing, and automation help speed the process. But the real secret to improve the security of DevOps is communication. Again, the real secret to improve the security of the DevOps is the communication. And I always talk about 5 things. One is adopting a DevSecOps model. Second, implementing the security policies. Third, automation. Fourth, vulnerability management. And fifth, the last, the privilege access management. Privilege access management is the most important tool that it is very important to monitor and control access. You should limit the privilege access rights to reduce the avenues for attack. For example, you can remove the administrator privileges to the end user devices, set up your own workflow, checkout process. You can also restrict the access for developers and testers to specific areas. You should also make sure that privileged credentials are stored safely, and you should monitor the privilege sessions to verify that all activity are legitimate. So these 5 practices, these 5 mantras, if you follow it, then you are all safe and secure.
Great. That was a very detailed lowdown, Rahul. Oh, sorry, Bhaskar.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
No problem. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. This time I'm going to club two questions because they are the same ones, similar ones. There's Bob and there's Srinivasan. Both of them want to know, is DevOps something which is only apt for large organization, or can it also work for a small organization? And I will hand this over to you, Charu, if you can explain something about it.
So thank you, Pratima, and thank you, Bob and Srinivasan, for asking this question. So this is a very interesting thing that each organization at different phase of their growth wants to know that which is the right time to adopt a technology. So as we were talking, DevOps is all about cultural change. It is not related to quantum. It brings more agility and simplifies life. So, and who does not want simplification and who does not want agility? So we are in a very dynamic world where we look for these two things. So in fact, but the scenarios are different. A small organization always faces resource crunch, whereas large organization actually wants to resolve conflicts because they have a big team. In fact, if we really look at it, a small organization are already practicing DevOps in some way or the another. There is handful of team, one person or few people who are responsible for development as well as operations. In fact, in day-to-day working, they are all looking at operation side of it. And when you are running a small organization, what one looks for is stability and growth, which DevOps enables. Therefore, according to me, DevOps suits all kind of setups, whether small or large. And in fact, if I really want to sum this up, what developers want, they want delivery to be as soon as possible, to deliver solutions as soon as possible, whereas operations wants reliability and stability. DevOps is one thing that actually breaks this divide, and it actually breaks the walls for development and operations team. It unifies them and enable them to have faster outcomes. Therefore, according to me, it irrespective of the organization size, DevOps is actually a culture. If you want to adopt that, it's for you. Thank you.
Great. That really answers it. Okay. This one is for you, Rahul. Thomas wants to know, can DevOps really accelerate application delivery?
Okay, thank you, Pratima. Thank you, Pratima. And Thomas, thank you so much for asking such a very important actually question, because see, it's very important to know how DevOps actually helps in accelerating the delivery process of organizations. See, the basic objective of DevOps is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Also, delivering working software frequently with the preference for shorter time scale. As the DevOps approach makes development operations work together seamlessly, where some of the operations team responsibility are shifted back to development team, which improves performance. And of course, better IT performance is related to higher performance for the whole organizations. So yes, DevOps does help organization accelerating application delivery, and we are here to help you for that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rahul. Okay, we are running out of time, but we'll try to squeeze in one more question. This one is about, okay, very interesting. What is the difference between DevOps and Agile methodologies? Charu or Bhaskar, any one of you, if you want to take this?
So, can I?
Sure, yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
ma'am.
So, okay. So, we initially talked, I think that question was raised by Murad, and he basically asked about agility and simplifying life through DevOps. And this is very interesting. Agile methodology and DevOps, a comparative, if I have correctly understood. And what actually Agile methodology focuses on? Let's understand that. It actually focuses on making developers and development cycle more efficient, whereas DevOps is all about a cultural shift. It is much, I would say, on a hierarchy, on a strategic level, far above agile methodology, because agile methodology only focuses on development life cycle or development, I would say, methodology. So you have various methodologies, agile is one of them. And DevOps actually brings an operations team into play, enabling continuous integration between delivery and operations. So it is bringing agility into the entire culture, or I would say process flow. So this is the basic difference, according to me, between a DevOps and agile methodology. I hope I'm able to answer this question.
Yes, that's a very important question, and Charu explained it very well. Yes, we need to understand the whole context properly before jumping into DevOps. Awesome. Okay, we don't have much time at hand, but before we close in, I think it would be better if all our experts can leave us with one strong takeaway. Any closing remarks, anything you want our audience to have some food for thought before we wrap up? Charu, why don't you start first?
So, okay, thank you, Pratima. So we have been talking about DevOps, and I have been talking about various aspects from the business point of view. So let me just close on a note that DevOps actually describes a culture, a set of processes that brings development operations team together to complete the software cycle, development cycle. It allows organization to create and improve products at a faster pace. DevOps is nothing but a discipline that resolves conflicts, increase productivity and efficiency, provide more stable operating environment, brings in transparency, and not the least, it is also cost efficient. To sum up, I would say with DevOps, you develop systems and not software. And this is from my side. Thank you, Pratima.
Great. Systems, not software. Super. Bhaskar, any thoughts from your side?
Yes, yes. So, I mean, Charu has covered most of the point. It's wonderful what he said. So DevOps is an approach from my side is to build and deliver computer software in which everyone works together. Then DevOps empowers developers to own, run, and manage the end-to-end delivery of an application. So if I have to summarize, it actually helps or faster the delivery for features and functionalities. It is actually more stable. It provides more stable operating environment. It improves the communication and collaboration for the development teams, and it's kind of a it's give you time to innovate and create yourself in terms of other areas. So DevOps is actually reducing the time for deliveries and operations, and also on the security part, it gives you the security features where you can make yourself prevented from vulnerability or DDoS attacks. So it covers all the things in a one umbrella. And also, if I talk about DevOps in one line, I would say practice the philosophy of continuous improvement. Get a little bit better every day. This is my one liner for all the people who are listening here. So that is my mantra and the expert advice to everyone. Thank you.
That really wraps it. But one final word one formula technical side angle from Rahul?
Definitely, definitely. And let me tell you, I'm really privileged to be a part of this wonderful session. Uh, and my closing remark will be, I already said before, catch it early, fix it fast. So DevOps really brings faster resolution of your problems. And it is truly said, DevOps is not a goal, but a never ending process of continual improvement. And we really meant this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was a very actionable, very handy, and very detailed coverage of DevOps that we did today. Thank you, everyone. But before we sign off, Naren, if I could request you to give us a little preview of what's coming next and something to close by.
Certainly, Pratiman, thank you very much. Guys, first of all, this was an excellent Q&A session. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure I learned a few things from it. Everyone's contribution is greatly, greatly appreciated. I would especially like to thank the panel, Charu, Bhaskar, Rahul, and Pratima. All of you have exceptional expertise. And that gives me a lot of confidence. Staqo is in really good hands. So thank you very much for your contribution. Now, more importantly, to all participants, I can see there are more than 70 people who are attending this. The Staqo team is delighted to host this webinar for you. I would like to thank each one of you for attending this webinar and contributing with some great questions. Thank you, guys. Please continue to share any further issues, and we shall arrange one-to-one sessions. Indeed, I look forward to that. You got our email address, you got our telephone number. Please feel free to contact us. Hopefully, you know what Staqo is all about. Deep expertise in application services, deep expertise in data platform services, deep expertise in solution engineering. Please feel free to call us anytime. The topic for next webinar, which is planned for 1st of December, is image analytics. A very important, very interesting, very hot topic. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it. We look forward to your participation in that webinar. And I'm sure we'll be talking well before that webinar. Indeed, I look forward to that. Thanks again, and have a good evening, and bye for now.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for joining in.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.